This might working on a tendency to project. So before I higher, Lee, a little bit higher. Okay. So before I jump into it, I have been a sports coach for pretty much my whole life, and I have two rules. Not really rules, more so group agreements. One is no phones, unless in this case you're taking pictures of me, which is more than fine. And the other thing is I'd love if we could fill in a little bit. We got a lot of folks in the back. I know COVID wants us to distance. We could come in and fill in. We've got some takers right here. Y'all want to have a little fun?
Yeah. Do it.
So the most important thing that all of us have in this room in common, we also share with the goldfish. See all that weird swimming and darting around its tank that looks aimless? Probably isn't so aimless after all. It's just trying to have a good time. See, ever since you were a baby, before your first memory, you were trying to play. Nobody taught you to hit a rattle in front of you, you just sort of did it. And now as adults, play looks like everything from painting to basketball to stock photos of kids wearing capes to chess. And maybe the easiest to imagine is organized sports. Play is, always will be, and always has been an inseparable part of who we are. But we really don't treat it like that. At every opportunity we've divested and deprioritized. We always say, I don't have time, I don't have the energy, I don't have the money to play right now. And the cracks in our humanity are showing. We treat each other less and less like human beings every day. And if you don't believe me, open up Twitter. I'm sure you'll find some very elevated discourse. And this pattern of continually divesting away from play has lasting consequences. If you're not on Twitter, I'm sure you've read a headline in the last 10 years. So, this vicious cycle starts to become clear. On one hand, we have play. One of the few things that we all know how to do, one of the fewer things that we all seem to enjoy. And yet we continually rip it out of our daily lives. And I think that's a huge mistake. Not only because I really like to have fun, but because of what play can teach us. It's one of the few places in our world where we can see what justice, humanity, and equality might look like if we were willing to try it. And I believe this because I'm living it. In Portland, Oregon, I put on the annual Unity Match, where players from Portland's houseless community compete alongside district attorneys, judges, city council members, and professional athletes. And perhaps unnoticed at first, because this feels like any other game as it should, we're combining the most visible people, the people that are on their ballot, and the people that are ignored on every street corner. For a brief 20 minutes, the rules are the same. The boundaries of the game are the same. Even the object of the game is exactly the same. Those with the most power in our society, and those historically denied it, are experiencing the exact same thing. But if we tug on the thread a little bit, we pull out what this game is showing us, it's the same as every other game. This is just a hyper example where those in power have an opportunity to learn what justice looks like in our communities, to learn what humanity looks like in our communities. But like everything, the Unity Match ends, like all of our games do. And play goes back to an afterthought. We save it for our goldfish. But what's really interesting is what happens if we start to prioritize play. Things start to change. In 2019, a player from the Unity Match was facing a felony charge. And as he walked in, he sat down, and across from him was not only a judge, but a former teammate. His felony was expunged that day. That's not to say that the judge acted with bias or gave him favorable treatment, but the Unity Match provided a different way to see the world. And that's something that you can't recreate in many other spaces in our life. So every time we play, from the most organized sports where you're putting on a helmet and pads, to those silly little moments of rock, paper, scissors to see who takes out the trash, you're faced with a really beautiful contradiction. That play is something that is goofy, inherently purposeless, something that we do just for fun, might actually be providing a rubric of how to address our community's greatest challenges. Now, I know I'm speaking after lunch. We've probably lost a lot of you in the back already. Some of you have already dismissed this talk altogether. What is a guy talking about play at a politics conference? But I don't think any of you will disagree with me that something, anything needs to change in the way that we approach social progress. So I challenge you to reimagine play for what it truly is. It's a place where you can learn about justice, humanity, equality, and also a vital and inseparable part of driving social justice everywhere else. But you have to make that choice. I'm not going to make it for you. You can continue on the path that we're on and nothing changes. Or you can prioritize play and join the game. Thanks, everybody.